The reason why I hate making videos around this time of the year, like, I hate making videos because I'll make a video and then the forbidden list drops and it goes blah, 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 blah. Forget everything you just said. It's irrelevant. But regardless on how the forbidden list makes out, these strategies are just one card away. That's right, one card away from being competitive in the meta. And don't worry, if you don't know about these strategies, you're in luck. I'm the TheCaliEffect king of games. What kind of king would I be if I didn't tell you what these strategies were about and what cards can make them uberly dominant? So of course, if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you destroy that like button, share this video with a friend, and let us know down below in the comment section what are some other strategies that are just one card away from being competitive and why. Without further ado, let's jump on in. Whether you are a returning Yu-Gi-Oh player from the days of old, or if you are a newer player, just about everyone knows of the Monarch Strategy. The Monarch Strategy is a deck built on tribute summoning, a mechanic that has existed since the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Using your monsters as sacrificial tributes give you stronger monsters to your side of the field, and these Monarch monsters have some devastating effects. All from destroying cards on your opponent's field, to ripping cards out of your opponent's hand, to returning cards to the top of their deck, pretty much setting them back an entire turn. The Monarch Strategy has always been feared and has actually made a rotation in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! See, like, there's spots in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like Monarchs come, Monarchs leave, Monarchs come. It's like a 5-year cycle. And I know that does sound like a huge cycle, but you have to think about other strategies that have never had the chance to sign multiple times throughout the era of Yu-Gi-Oh! The last time Konami focused its efforts on the Monarch Strategy was around 2015. A lot of you people watching this video might have still been sucking on pacifiers at the time. Yeah, that's right. I just called you some young whippersnappers. Us old folk need to teach you how to run this game. We're Yu-Gi boomers, and we're entitled to it. Sorry about that. I went on one of my old people World War II tangents. The 2015 Monarch rendition of the entire strategy was built on rewarding you for not playing your extra deck by preventing your opponent from playing theirs. The Monarch Strategy simplified the game, which was excellent for new and returning Yu-Gi-Oh players, and with one card off the forbidden list, the Monarch Strategy can reign supreme again. That card is Pantheism of the Monarch, which allows the strategy to draw cards, dig deeper into their deck, but also allows them to search cards. Monarchs at one point in time were so meta that they had to be hit multiple times, and Pantheism is the last card to come off the list.
What's that, Sonny? We need another deck to talk about. Well, I can tell you back in my day, took 10 minutes to talk about this deck. Just like I took 10 minutes to play this deck. My name is Horace, and I'm here to tell you about spellbooks.
Spellbooks is another strategy for us Yu-Gi boomers to talk about. It is a deck similar to Sky Strikers, but nothing like Sky Strikers. Like, don't tell a player that they're the same because they're actually different. The Spellbook strategy has their Sky Striker Mobilize Engage reduced to a hard once per turn. Spellbook of Secrets allows you to add any Spellbook card from your deck to your hand, which prompts a myriad of plays. By activating a succession of spell cards on your turn while having Spellbook of Judgment on your side of the field, you are allotted Spellbook cards from your deck to your hand and the free special summon of a spellcaster monster. Now, most of the Spellbook cards that you played were extremely weak, but there comes a time where cards like Spellbook Starhall would give your monsters enough counters for Jowgen to be ridiculous amounts of attack. Jowgen was like 3,000 attack. Like, that's how many spell cards you could activate. And he's like 200 originally, so like, he's strong. The Spellbook strategy works as an anti-meta like grind deck and eventually snowballs your opponent into submission. The reason why this deck isn't as strong anymore is because Spellbook of Judgment was banned on the forbidden list for good reason. This card is like multi-roll but on drugs, but we're not gonna make any more Sky Striker comparisons. This card coming to 3 probably would put Spellbooks in that tier 2 category. I seriously don't think Spellbook of Judgment is as busted as some of the other cards we have running around in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. It's really good, just, I don't know, it rewards you for playing a deck, something that Yu-Gi-Oh is supposed to be about. Now, some future support for the Spellbook strategy would be just another Spellbook spell card. Like, seriously, give us a usable Spellbook spell card. Spellbook of Knowledge is good, we're on the right track, we just need one more. The longer we talk about this video, the further back I go And the more I reach into that nostalgia bag, I'm going all the way back to 2008. This was 12 years ago to talk about the Lightsworn Strategy. Now, the Lightsworn Strategy is pretty good. I actually made a deck profile on the deck. Go ahead and check it out there, and it's really fun to play. Unfortunately, the Lightsworn Strategy isn't exactly where Lightsworn players would want it to be. I mean, if we're gonna be really serious, there are some players that have literally dropped thousands of dollars on Lightsworn, and it's never been a tier 1 deck. Lightsworn has a rather checkered past. Coming out in the Teledad era, by the time it finally reached hype, I mean, there were just other decks that were just as good, if not better than Lightsworn, and provided you consistency. The Lightsworn Strategy currently has no cards on the Forbidden Lists. Cards like Blackluster Soldier and Chaos Sorcerer were the strategy's go-to cards, and they're unlimited. And the deck still doesn't do much. Fortunately for us, 1 or 2 cards for the Lightsworn Strategy would put it back in the top contention. A Lightsworn Extender monster that can be special summoned to the side of the field by controlling a Lightsworn monster. This Lightsworn monster also needs to be a different type. I have to stress that it needs to be a different type from Fairy, Warrior, Spellcaster, or Beast Warrior. Please be like, I don't know, like, I don't know, anything, just not those. And possibly a Lightsworn spell card that gives you an additional normal summon if you have a certain amount of Lightsworn monsters with different names, and can probably, I don't know, stack Lightsworn monsters to the top of your deck. The Lightsworn Strategy is really strong in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, but just a little bit, 1 or 2 cards could push it over the top. Teller Knights were a god-awesome strategy that no one seemed to like at the time. Teller Knight is one of the first strategies to coin the term Helmet, a deck that doesn't take any skill to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But Teller Knights by no means is a very complicated strategy, but it does require resource management. Your monsters like Teller Knight Deneb does reward you for summoning it to your side of the field, getting you Teller Knight Altair, which special summons your Deneb. That creates a simplistic manner, but abusing the right Teller Knight trap cards, or the right trap cards in general, to be able to stop your opponent so you can keep pushing. Teller Knight Travere also bounces all cards on the field to the hand, so picking the correct continuous trap cards or continuous spell cards to use against your opponent is probably key. The Teller Knight strategy literally just need a Teller Knight spell card that can search Teller Knight monsters. That's literally it. I think that Teller Knight is on the cusp of being a really good strategy. It already has all of the pieces for it, and it fits in the likes of decks like Subterror and Altergeist. It's definitely a new variation for players that love that type of playstyle to play. Staying in 2015, because that just seems to be where I live, Infernoid is another amazing strategy. It actually could be a counter to the meta with the right support. The Infernoid strategy is built on banishing other Infernoid monsters from your hand or graveyard to summon these bad puppies to your side of the field. Most Infernoid monsters have a DD Crow-like effect, tributing a monster on your side of the field to be able to banish cards in your opponent's graveyard. But the huge Infernoid monsters allow you to tribute monsters to be able to negate and banish either spell and trap or monster effects. The Infernoid strategy is just like any other deck back in 2015. Like, seriously, there was like some racism against extra decks. There was like Necros, there was Shadalls, Infernoid, Cleafort. Those decks just hated players that played extra decks. Using cards like Void Imagination to be able to send Infernoid monsters from your deck to summon the ever so powerful Infernoid Tiara. Now, if we're looking at new support for Infernoids to make it a competitive deck, maybe an Infernoid monster or a spell that sent Infernoids for the deck to the graveyard that's like easy to get into or whatever. But if we're looking directly at the Forbidden List, Reasoning to 3 would literally make Infernoids a very viable deck. The Infernoid monsters can't be normal summoned or set and can only be special summoned through their own effects for the exception of one monster, so one good reasoning mill puts all of the Infernoids you want into the graveyard, and seeing that they can summon themselves from the graveyard to the side of the field, voila, you got an Infernoid deck working. The Infernoid strategy, just like most 2015 strategies in the Yu-Gi Boomer era, is one of those decks that hate the extra deck, and since players hate the extra deck now, I mean, you put 2 and 2 together in a little bad weather, you just bring reasoning off, it's gonna be a whole Eldritch deck on the funeral line. I'm just saying, bro. Well, that's all that I have from strategies that are just one card away from being competitive. I know in some parts of this video I did mention multiple cards, but I think that those strategies could take either or that card off the Forbidden List to be a contender. I think it's really cool to talk about some of the forgotten strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you want to see more videos like this, then destroy that like button, share with a friend, but more importantly, definitely post down below in the comment section some strategies that you think are one card away from being competitive. Also, be sure to check out these videos. I'm not sure what's there yet, but it's going to be something that you're going to want to watch. I'll catch you on the next video.